when God breaks you down to nothing, it's a different breakdown. Sometimes we gotta ask God to change us, then favor us. Because if we go into a blessing sometimes being the same way, it's almost like we never got it because we not prepared for the blessings that we be wanting sometimes. And sometimes in life, you just really got to ask God to change you first and fast for preparation, and then favor your needs and favor you. Because if you get your blessings too fast sometimes, it can slip right through your hands and it's just like you never got them. And sometimes you just got to ask for that preparation and that change, no matter what it is, no matter what it takes, no matter if it's a mindset, no matter if it's your thoughts, your environment, no matter what it is. Restore your heart, change your thoughts, your mindset, the way you think, the way you talk, the way you speak, the way you look at things, give you provision, give you clarity, change your environment. When he does that, he's on to something big, because he's really stripping you down to nothing, to rebuild everything about you from the inside out, not from the outside in. And God will take you through things over and over and over and over. And I know when I had to go through things over and over and over, I couldn't figure out why. I couldn't figure out why I'm keep going through the same struggle with finances over and over and over. Because I wasn't learning. Even though you think you learned your lesson in that last season when God got you out of it, you still might be missing something that he's trying to teach you. That's in relationships, finance, struggles, no matter what it is. If you keep going through that same thing over and over and over again, it's something that you're not getting. And I'm going to be very transparent. I know they say don't ask God why. Don't question God. But I did not want to lean on nobody else's understanding, not even my own understanding. I asked God why. And I'm going to be very transparent. I kept going through finance struggles, jobs. I was struggling hard. And I asked God why. Why this keep happening? God told me this is your pass through, not your destination. You're going to keep going through this because you're not living in the promise that I told you yet. And God said, you haven't made it to your promise yet. Oof. That hit a little different. You're going to keep going through what you're going through because the promise that I told you, you haven't made it there yet. And until you make it to the promise, this is what you're going to go through because this is going to build you. When you make it to the promise, you'll be able to rest. And when I tell you that hit on a different level, sometimes you're going through what you're going through to build character, and it's preparation for the promise. Oh, boy. Sometimes you have to fast for preparation. How are you going to get prepared for the things that God has for you? Fasting is necessary. Fasting is needed. That's your way of connecting, seeking. What if you knew, and what if you understood from the moment that God planted the seed in your mother's womb that the devil had an assignment over your life, just like he did for Mary with Jesus? From the day that God planted the seed in Mary's womb, the devil had an assignment over Jesus' life. What if you understood that some of your yeses are the devil's assignment? What if you knew that yes to that relationship was the devil's assignment? That yes environment was the devil's assignment? Every hardship in your life is not the devil. Every bad situation is not the devil. The devil sometimes send you the easy situations, the easy yeses. Sometimes the hard and difficult things that you are going through in your life is to pull you close and near to God, to build character, and it's in God's will. That's his purpose over your life. So if you understood and knew that not everything that bad happened is not of the devil, it's for God's purpose and God's will. Wherever you at in life, God will come get you. He will meet you right there where you at. No matter if you're in a dark season, a light season, a needed season. No matter where you at in life, God will come and get you. He will meet you right there where you at. What if the hard things, the brokenness, the needed season, the struggle seasons was the seasons to get you connected and close to him? What if that was part of the plan? I know we say we're going to take back everything that they stole from us. But what if we look at it like this? God is going to bless you with everything the enemies thought they stole from him. God have enemies too. God have people that don't like him, that don't worship him, that think they have more power than him. So what if you say, God is going to bless me with everything the enemies thought they stole from him? Obedience comes before the promise. And once you get to the promise, you'll be able to rest. Not rest as of if not doing anything, but rest knowing that you survived everything that tried to stop you from getting to the promise. Everything have to change when you get to the promise. Your mindset have to change. Your thoughts have to change. Your wisdom have to change. Your knowledge have to change. Because once you get to the promise, you have to be somebody that you never been before. You have to learn that person. You have to grow with that person. Obedience come before the promise. Everybody that God remove out your life is not always bad. Sometimes they just be in the way of his purpose and his will for your life. Everybody that come into your life is not always good. Sometimes you have to pray for that discernment, and sometimes you have to pray for that confidence in that discernment. Everybody that walks out your life is not always bad. They just in the way of God's purpose, plan, and will for you in that season. Fasting is necessary. Fasting help with those type of things. What if your suffering was a way to obedience? Sometimes suffering comes with obedience. When we suffer, when we be in bad situations, when we need to pay rent, bills, car note, whatever the case may be, we lean on God. We seek God. We seek him multiple times a day. Sometimes we seek him all day, every day, until we get out of that situation. Sometimes that's the only time that God hear from you, is when you're suffering. You be obedient. You be obedient in your prayers. What if your suffering led you to obedience, and God pulled you out of that place of suffering? And once he pulled you out of that place of suffering, you go back to your own ways, your own control, your own way of doing things. Then you suffer again and you seek God again. And what are you doing? You being obedient again. Sometimes that's the only time that God hears from you. You get out of suffering by being obedient, seeking God every day, asking for help, leaning on Him, praying multiple times a day sometimes. What if suffering was a way to obedience? Jesus suffered. He learned obedience by the thing that He suffered. Rest isn't laziness, it's obedience and understanding that God is working even when you pause. Rest is understanding the promise. Rest is not laziness. Sometimes rest is necessary. Even God rests on the seventh day. God sometimes will have you doing the hard things, the difficult things, the things you wouldn't even think that He'll have you doing. Because Moses did it, Joseph, they did the hard and difficult things. But they was obedient to God's word. They was faithful. God will sometimes have you doing the hard things. Trust the process. Trust the journey. Trust the walk. Trust the wins. Trust the loss. Trust the process and the will that God has for your life. Just because you see everybody else living in their dreams, getting blessed with the things they pray for, it don't mean that God forgot about you. You have your own unique story. You have your own unique testimony. You have your own unique journey. Understand that God don't forget about no one. And the journey and the things and the purpose and the will that He have for your life is assigned to you only and nobody else. Running get you there faster. Walking get you there wiser. When you in those seasons where you walking, but you seeing everybody else run, you seeing everybody else living their dreams, you seeing everybody else accomplish goals, but you still walking. I just want you to know that that walk is necessary. Don't pay attention to the things that happening around you as far as people moving forward and leaving you behind. Don't get distracted by that. What's for them is for them. What's for you is for you. Understand that everybody have their own purpose and journey. Understand that what's for them, it might not even work for you.